What's up, Copy Squad? It's your boy Kyle Milligan coming to you live from Boca Raton, Florida. And today we're going to do our first email list appreciation Ask Me Anything video. So essentially, what happened was this morning we sent out an email to our email list just saying, hey, appreciate you for being on the email list. And if you want, I'll answer pretty much any question that you have. And I thought I would compile the emails and then tactfully think through and answer them and in one video at some point, but already there's too many responses for us to do that. If they just keep coming, I'm gonna try to just go ahead and answer them now and run through them. So I'll pull them up, and if you want to get on the email list and get a free PDF on the Big Four selling emotions, just go to copysquad.net/4 triggers. I think I have, yeah, there you go, a little banner right there. So let's check it out. We'll just go through these piece by piece. All right, so Reese S. Thanks for the email. I write a lot of copy in the B2B space. Here, I'm actually going to start copying this stuff so that I can put it in a note on the screen so you can see the questions. So what I'll do is I'll create a new banner. All right, so I'll create a new banner, and it's going to have the question in it. Boop, boop, boop. Add banner. See if it pops up. Yeah, here we go. Reese asks, I write a lot of copy in the B2B space. Could you do a copy or Nesby video on writing in a more professional tone without coming off as salesy? Writing in a more professional tone without coming off as salesy. So the amount of salesiness, I mean, I'm just going to ask this because it's kind of what we're doing here. Answer this. The amount of salesiness is sort of a decision that you make whenever you're writing. Like, how much promise and how much hype do you want to put forth? I think, all of your dreams are going to come true. And if you just do this one thing, you write in the B2B space. I mean, I kind of write in the B2B space in some ways. Let me think. How do you write in the, if Russell Brunson writes in the B2B space, right? Every person he talks to is a business. Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, every time he signs someone up for ClickFunnels, that's a business. That's B2B, right? Would you say that Russell's salesy? He's very exciting. He's super hype. If you're saying you want more corporate talk, I don't subscribe to that. I think you can be appealing and you can make promises and back it with proof without being salesy, without being overhyped. That's kind of a personal decision on how you write. But this B2B thing, thinking of it as well, I got to talk this very specific way. That's about the question says, how do you do it in a more professional tone? You need to understand the language that your target market uses and then use that. If you look at some of the financial publishing space, some of the most successful promos, I saw one recently that was just absolutely just bashing the left side of the aisle in American politics. And the way that they did that was simply by using the words and thoughts and ideas and feelings that the right side of the aisle had about the left side of the aisle. So they were saying these guys are always trying to take your guns, something like that. They're always trying to tell you what to do. They're always trying to tell you how to talk. They're always trying to censor you. Okay, so there's always they use this sort of language. It's not about being more professional tone or not as salesy. It's about speaking with your prospect as they would speak inside of their own circles. If you're let's say you're talking to a tech guy or something like that, a SaaS person, what would they do if they were having their own little circle? If they were in the boardroom or the conference room talking ideas or talking about how to improve their business, how would they talk? Because they're people. That's why I don't like this B2B thing. I write B2B, so I have to do everything different. No, you're talking to a person. How would that person talk? And what sort of message do they want to receive? Don't think in terms of salesy. You can still sell something new, easy, safe, and big to a SaaS person. So I wish I could get use ClickFunnels. Hey man, you need to build a very quick, simple solution that you can just have a product be sold without spending a ton of time coding or learning how to design. Check out ClickFunnels. Something like that is not salesy. It's just you can still do new, easy, safe, and big with that. So, I mean, it's really, I feel like you're overthinking this, my friend. That's what I kind of feel about that question. All right, cool. All right, what up, son? That kind of flows naturally for me. Like your content, sir. Thank you, Halima. All right, so let's check out another question then. So that's one. Bingo, bango. Crush that question, I think. All right, let's check out this one here. So we're gonna edit. Boop. I don't think it's gonna fit. See if I can get rid of some of this. I can only put 200 characters on the screen. So I have to. Can I get all of this in there? Still, this is a long question. I'm going to teach you guys how to ask very simple questions. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to screen cap it. I'll screen cap it and I'll share screen or something like that. Can I get it? All right, cool. Un momento, por favor. Why would it not wrap the text so that I could easily see this? All right, cool. Now the screenshot is what we'll look at. We'll blow that up to fill the whole screen. And I'll zoom in a second. I feel like you guys are probably getting bored of this, watching me click around my screen now already. All right, here we go. We're gonna screen share, or we're gonna look at this thing. So present. Justin, what up, player? Present. We're gonna present. Share screen. Yeah, this is AMAs. Ask me anything for anyone on my email list. If you want to get on the email list, it's at copysquad.net/4 triggers, and you can also even get yourself a cool PDF about the big four selling emotions. So you obviously can't read that. We're going to zoom in real far. Ha! Got it. So Joe asks, hold on, I need to learn how to get rid of banners. So this banner needs to be deleted. Goodbye. So Joe asks, let me do this. Joe asks, there's so many veteran copywriters with different things to teach to the point where there's a lot of contradictions. For example, some say personalized cold emails are best. Some say it's a quantity game. How do you decide what the best advice to take is? How do you qualify it as the correct advice for yourself? Cheers, Joe. All right, cool. Is that cool? Is that a cool angle right there? So what I like about this question, I wish I could keep this on screen and like make myself bigger in some way. But I think what I'll do is just do this. All right. So just addressing this question now. How do you decide what the best advice to take is? The answer to this is the same answer I'd give for any type of advice. If you're looking for financial advice, I would ask someone who has the finances that I desire. If you're looking for health and fitness advice, I would ask someone with the health and fitness that I desire, and I'd take their advice. I'm looking for dating advice. I'm looking for writing advice, business advice, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The answer to that question is always the same. You should put a certain level of weight based on that person's relative position to you and how close that relative position is to where you actually want to be. Like you want to be in that person's shoes, then if you want to be directly in their shoes, then you take their advice. So that does take a little bit of research. All right, second question. How do you qualify it as the correct advice for yourself? You have to have, I just get a little woo-woo. You have to have a certain sense of self, right? And what I mean by that is you got to actually know what you desire. I think, and I think I saw a question just kind of asked me about how much money I make or something like that. And I talked to Nabil Aziz on my podcast, The Kyle Milligan Show, which is a separate YouTube channel, about this. And his advice was like, how much money do you need? Like if you were to go get a job, like what is it that you want or need? And then sort of work backwards from that. So the question says, how do you qualify as correct advice for yourself? Well, do you need millions and millions of dollars in the bank to not be depressed and to feel good about yourself? Or do you actually need like 80K, like 80,000? I remember one of my first years in copy, when I hit 80,000, or the first year in copy, when my income hit $80,000, I had like a crisis because I wanted to be this six-figure writer. That was my big goal. But when I hit $80,000, I actually lost like all my motivation to go to work. I remember it hit me. I was playing Super Smash Bros. In my living room, and I didn't go into the office that day. And I ran the numbers in my head because I was chilling. My rent was like paid for the year. Like my bills were all very minimal. I don't buy a lot. I don't carry debt. I don't do stuff like that. So when I hit $80,000 for the year so far, I was like, man, I'm not in a hurry to get to 6 figures. Like, I need to rethink my goals, because if money was my motivator, then it's failed me, because once I hit 80, I was comfortable. So the end of that story is I decided to turn to the Deep Work Philosophy by Cal Newport. It's a book by Cal Newport called Deep Work. It's amazing, and it made me start focusing on, like, okay, I'm just going to address and handle deep work for about 2 hours a day. So that's a really long way to answer that question. You said something else, like there's contradictions. Like, some say personalized cold emails are best. Some say it's a quantity game. That has to do. It's like anything. Like, for that kind of stuff, man. Like, to get a higher quality catch, you're gonna have to come with a higher quality approach. Like, you get what you pay for, sort of thing. Like, if anything that comes too easily, might not be worth it. So if you're looking for like a big fish who's constantly getting bombarded, you might have to do more research. If you're working with small shrimp who nobody actually wants to work with or help at all, might not have to put as much effort into that. So that's another way to sort of think about that situation. All right, next, Sean. So this one's about getting prospects as well. I think what I'm gonna do is I feel like I'm gonna get the prospects questions a lot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna group all the ones about getting prospects and save those for the end. So I'll just leave this one as unread, and I'll come back to it, because I feel like I'm just gonna answer the same question 500 times. Super Cuber says, "Love your stuff, Kyle." Here, let me just put this in a banner. Okay. I'm happy to give advice about this stuff, even though I'm probably not the authority on this. Like I was saying about, like, uh pick someone that you want to be just like. Maybe I'm not the person to answer this stuff specifically or definitely, but I do have thoughts. This person says, "Love your stuff, Carl. Would love to see some dating advice here." I think one of the things that has been crucial in terms of dating advice, there's a lot of self-improvement stuff that I think what I'd like to say is just like all the stuff that I don't believe in. Um, I feel like there's a lot of bad information out there, and a lot of it, there's a rise in this marketing term, and don't be fooled. This is a marketing term, Sigma. The idea of a Sigma male. Okay, so there's these schools of thought, like alpha males, beta males, and then now this new term, Sigma male. Sigma male is a marketing term. Now, why would someone want to come up with this marketing term, Sigma male? Because they start to realize our target market, our audience, are lonely dudes. They are people who are alone. So when you start thinking of everything as a marketing game, you start thinking like if you've ever, I read this book called Pimp by Iceberg Slim, old pimp from the 80s in Chicago. And if you read like the pimps in back in the day, just kind of saw everything in the world as pimping. You're either pimping or you're being pimped. I see everything as this is the marketing strategy. Someone's trying to win you over to their way of thinking. So when you think about the Sigma male, why did someone start using that? Why are those YouTube videos popping up with that term? It's a way to sort of embolden and empower your target market who are lonely dudes. They're not leaders of men. They don't have those like classic alpha qualities, but you don't want to categorize them as the lesser class. So they invented a new class called Sigma. And the damaging and thing that I think about this new marketing angle for Sigma males is it actually furthers a bad paradigm and sends them further in a direction they don't want to go. And so the idea, like I was just talking in Copy Squad Light, I talk about we talk about copy, but we also talk about like we can talk about anything. So I was talking in Copy Squad Light today with this one guy, and he said he nailed it perfectly. He said, the Sigma thing tells you to like go disappear for a year until you're the perfect product. But then when you emerge a year later and you've like worked on yourself, you reckon like nobody cares. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody cares you exist. Like nobody, you have to work on your social skills. You have to work on being comfortable with tension or uncertainty, not knowing what to do and taking action anyway. And this will help you in a lot of areas of life. But I'd say like some of my dating advice is ignore the Sigma male hype right now. Because if you know what, I'm gonna do something. Like let me show you. I think I can do this and it'll work. Give me a second while I look something up for you. I want to see if I can prove something. Okay, there you go. I'm going to show my screen right now. How do I do this? This, right? Uh-oh. What am I doing here? Okay, so this is the Google Trends thing. This is the term First Republic Bank. That's not what I looked up. I looked up Sigma Mail. Oh, there's not enough data. Damn it. Hold on. I was trying to make a point here. Sigma Mail. Oh, maybe it's I typed it wrong. Past day. What if I say like past 12 months? 5 years. Yeah, see this is like a made up thing that someone just started talking about like a couple years ago. Now look at this. Look at this spike. Christmas time. November. I wonder if that has any significance. I'm not sure, but you can kind of see like this is like a trend. This is like a thing that's I feel like is not. It's a new thing, and the whole point of me showing you this is like you can kind of tell when someone's like pushing a narrative or pushing like a term in marketing or something because you can see it like it begins to like kind of grow in popularity and searching and like people are buying into this. I don't know. I just don't think it's I don't think it's healthy. I think it's stupid. Let's see. Oh, we're getting a bunch of stuff. Halima, what are the major emails I should learn to write on? Only answering for questions from the email list today 'cause I can't take any on here. What up, Jawad? Javier says true. Why says create a new category called Alpha Unicorn. The Sigma thing seemed reasonable, but not as much now. Bro, I love your content. I'm currently reading Take Their Money. I'm learning so much. Thanks, Weeb. Reese. It is a marketing tactic. Josh says it's marketing tactics. Same thing, kind of with Liquid Death. Create something new in a market you own. Yeah, like Liquid Death is just water, right? Okay, cool. So that was my dating advice, I guess, is this idea of encouraging antisocial behavior does not actually help you in the dating realm, but in specifically men's focused dating style kind of content and channels on YouTube, there is a surge in this Sigma thing. That's my dating advice: is ignore anything that encourages antisocial behavior. That's not attractive behavior. If you want to be attractive, it really boils down to comfort with yourself and the ability to handle tension with grace and poise. And becoming hyper antisocial and not knowing how to deal with social situations is not the answer. So that's my dating advice. If you ask a more specific question, I might give you more information. Oh, here's another prospect question. So I'm gonna save this to the end because we're gonna get a bunch of prospecting questions, I'm sure. I want to run my advertising agency cold email outreach. Okay, it's another prospecting question. We'll come back to that one. Ken, thanks for help. I'm working as a freelancer offering email. My obstacle. Okay, cool. I like this question. We're going to snip this question, and then we're going to put it on screen. I like this question because it's going to be like a mental mindset sort of question. And I know mindset, it's a hit or miss kind of thing, honestly. Like, if you agree with it, if you think it's stupid, or where you fall on that thing. But I'll sit here and talk about this with you if you're going to ask me for sure. Okay. Share screen. Here we go. Let me get rid of this last banner. All right. So Ken asks, "Hey Kyle, thank you for offering to help. I'm working to start freelancing and offering email copywriting services. My greatest obstacle is confidence. I'm an experienced copywriter and content writer, but I've been away from it for about 6 years. Life got in the way, and I've never offered email copywriting as a service, so I'm not new to this, but returning to it makes me feel like a newbie. I have this mental movie, and it's basically getting my first client and not knowing how to write whatever kind of email she wants. Any words will be appreciated. Ken." Okay, so the mental movie game. What you're talking about here is fear, right? It's like this uncertainty. Any words would be appreciated. Getting my first client, not knowing how to write whatever kind of email she wants. The first thing I can do is just push you towards my email content. Because that'll be like, it'll give you like a foundational structure of like, okay, disrupt, intrigue, click. regardless of whether it's an abandoned cart, a re-engagement, a traffic driving email, at its core, it's going to be like get their attention, build value, tell them something to really break something gripping to bring them in, and then tell them they got to click now, right? So even like in an abandoned cart, or like a lot of times people want to use story. You can use story, but most people don't know how to tell a good story. And so the format that we teach is the most simplistic format that almost anyone can pick up right away and start using. It takes about 100 to 150 words. So what I'm saying here is this is a confidence thing. And what is confidence? Like it's simply just like a certainty that you usually build from reference experiences. And you said you've never had these reference experiences. You've never performed the craft. So for instance, inside Copy Squad Lite, we have a channel just called Daily Practice. And it's just like an accountability thing. Every day someone does the read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, come up with an idea a day. They have reference experiences. They've been practicing for weeks, months, doing this every single day. And whether they got their first client or not, they know how to sit down and write an email. This is something else that's really important, is that the copy game is a language, because what we're talking about is the language of emotions. And for folks, he's on the email list. Ken is on the email list. Is how I got this email. If you're not on the email list, you want to join the email list. If you want to get your questions answered like this, where's that thing? Yeah, 4 triggers. So 4 triggers is my PDF that I give anyone who joins the email list that teaches you the big 4 selling emotions. And the point I'm bringing up here is, like any language, you have to be immersed in it. And if you have this confidence of like, I understand the disrupt, intrigue, click sort of format, and I understand the kinds of emotions that resonate and get people excited, you can sort of enter with a baseline level of confidence, knowing that you at least check those boxes. The other thing that you're going to need is reps. So you do need to craft daily practice. There is, anxiety or this dread that you might be feeling is a byproduct of having no reference experiences. You're staring into a black hole, like just a gaping void of I don't know what's going to happen. So the other thing you need to do can be, this can be like it almost feels like shame in a way, anxiety. It's definitely a stifling sort of emotion that you're going through, but it might be healthy. When you have an emotion such as shame or anxiety or fear, emotions, and according to Antonio Damasio, the guy that came up with like the basic theory for like why I sell to emotions and teach the language of emotion. It's on my sales letter. The story of Antonio Damasio's patients who couldn't make decisions without the emotions. Emotions are impulses that require action. So if you're having dread, if you're having anxiety, if you're having fear, that's an impulse requiring an action. What is your fear? What is your dread telling you? And you're telling me in this email what your fear is telling you. You have this mental movie, getting your first client, not knowing how to write whatever kind of email he or she wants. Your fear is alerting you that you need to prepare for the future. It says like there is a possible danger that you are not prepared for. So I'll give you a couple pieces of advice. First, the things that I already told you to do, get familiar and comfortable with this craft, is the first and foremost, like build that foundation. Second, become, don't be, like the problem here is you're generalist. Like right now you're looking at it like writing emails. No, dude. Go subscribe to like, I don't know, pick a niche, the dating niche, the financial niche, the health niche. Those are the big 3: health, wealth, and relationships. I look at pretty much all of them all the time. So it's good to like sort of borrow technique, but for now, pick one. You're talking about, look, whatever kind of email he or she wants, what kind of email can you write? When you sort of lock that down and say, hey, man, if you need a re-engagement campaign, I'll do that. Here's what I'll charge. Right? So what you need to do is start like put yourself on a pedestal, man. Put yourself on a pedestal. You've got the client on this pedestal, and you need to sort of buff up your craft and go and study and say, I've got I've got 5 swipes of re-engagement campaigns that I found from subscribing to other companies' emails. So You subscribe to 5, you don't open for like a year, and then they start sending you, hey, we're going to remove you unless you do this or something like that. You can see the re-engagement campaigns. Or that might be a harder one. You might be able to find some on YouTube or like blogs you can find on articles. But definitely just traffic drivers, you'll get sent 100 of those a week. If you subscribe to my list, I mean, I get I get people all the time complaining that we send traffic driving emails. They say, I said, like, where you always trying to sell me, and it's like, do you know whose email list you subscribe to? I'm literally top chief. I'm a copywriter. I'm literally doing the thing that you subscribe to learn about. Why aren't you just paying attention to what I'm doing? I'm literally writing emails that drive traffic to my offers, and people have this programming. I'm going on a tangent now because this stuff frustrates me. It's like I'm running the game on you. You should like really just be hyper aware instead of like I'll get these mad emails like you tried to sell me. It's like, what do you think my job is? Anyway, yeah, man. So you gotta put yourself on a pedestal. Forget what kind of email he or she wants just for now. I mean, you do want to offer what they need, but for now, figure out what you can offer confidently, and you can build that piece by piece. So, for instance, we've got inside of Copy Squad Lite. Do I have a banner for Copy Squad Lite? Do I really not have a banner for Copy Squad Lite? There's got to be one. Hold on a second. There. Okay. So inside of Copy Squad Lite, we have like 4 email trainings, and they all focus on sort of like different skill sets. And then we have an advertorial training. So like one of them is just about writing emails. One of them is about how to mine email ideas and threads out from sales promotions, because email is derivative. It is the you pull it from, I would generally look to the core promotional package and material to find what email content I'm going to write about, and then I'd write an email from that. But generally, email is derivative. So we have a class that just teaches you how to go into the sales promotion and find new email angles. Then we have a class that's about email mistakes and how to, like, the 7 types of angles that you can do and how to minimize those mistakes. And then we have a class, this is by Todd Brown, and he taught us how he runs his campaigns for his personal business. And that's how we started running them at Copy Squad. And, you know, that Todd's an OG. Like he basically consulted for like Agora. I'm part of his mastermind. Like he's a top tier dude. And for $47 when you join Copy Squad Lite, you get all this. It's all included. It's the most stacked, ridiculous copy offer that exists that I've seen. Okay, cool. I'm just going to these little comments over here. Jawad thought it was monk mode. I think it's kind of the same. Marketed from the dating perspective. Yeah, monk mode. Like, I feel like we're moving further. This is kind of akin to hustle culture. I feel like we're moving in the wrong direction for a lot of this stuff. Maybe I can say that now that I'm on the other side of it. For instance, you know, everyone, once they become super successful and super wealthy, they go, oh, it's not worth that much. Or, you know, someone's got like 10,000 girlfriends and they say, oh, but it won't make you happy. I think it's like easy for those people to say, but I feel like this whole confidence game is really where it's at. Like monk mode is monk mode, Sigma, MGTOW. I think all of those movements are sort of like a coping mechanism to avoid like looking life in the face and improving, like actually improving. Because I think real self-improvement is improvement with like your community and other humans. I think real self-improvement is let me get rid of this. I think real self-improvement is it's reflected in your ability to interact with others. And so this whole like idea of like going and putting yourself in a cave for a year is not really that great of self-improvement. Like even the hardcorest self-improvement alpha guru junkies, like you look at like the Andrew Tates, he even says like status. It's all about status. And status is an interpersonal improvement. And people act like, well, if you got a lot of money, you get status. There are plenty of very rich losers that nobody likes. I can tell you, like, when I hit like my peak income, my relationships, I probably had like things are like better when you work specifically on your interpersonal relationships than like just getting the most money or bench pressing the most weight or something like that. You are top G. Thank you. Top Chief versus top G. I'm taking top Chief. I'm taking that. I'm not. Someone's already probably trademarked top G, right? The most brain dead copy offer is the one from Professor Andrew Bass. The most brain dead copy offer is the one from Professor Andrew Bass. Oh, I don't know. You're talking shit. I get okay. Thanks for the light, URL. You're very welcome. A lot of men's dating stuff isn't healthy at all. The place it's coming from is hurt. Fair enough. Okay, let's talk about that. A lot of it, because it's a complicated subject, but I think a lot of like when you say it's coming from hurt, well, what it's espousing are barriers, tall walls, keeping everything at arm's distance. And I think the actual move, I'm no expert on this. I think the actual move, I can tell my own friendships and relationships and everything have improved when you sort of learn. When you start focusing outward, there's a lot of stuff like saying, "Oh, you gotta focus on yourself. Focus on yourself." If you can learn how to, it's just like sales. It's just like copy. If you can learn about how other people's brains work and their emotional, and I'll tell you the way you learn this is actually it does start with focusing on yourself. When you have an emotional acuity of understanding like what feeling or emotion you are going through, and you can put words to it and label it, it's a lot easier to see it in the wild. Just like whenever you start learning the big four emotions and you start seeing it everywhere, you'll start seeing it like if like let's just use guys and girls. Like if you introduce yourself to a girl and she blows you off, right? Then your first reaction, if you're completely self-absorbed, might be, oh, that girl's a bitch, right? But if you have a higher emotional acuity, you can probably you can maybe even diffuse the situation. Like if she's acting a certain way or feeling a certain way, you might haven't done your own emotional work. You might recognize that emotion being expressed through her. You might have said some shit like she just said in the past, like, "Oh, I know what's happening here." Be like, "I was at the mall yesterday, and my dad was trying on a shirt, and I was just standing there, and there was a girl a couple feet away, just said." And so like I immediately was like, rough day. And she was like, I've had 2 customers call me a bitch today. And I was like, oh, actually I said, what'd you do? I said, I'm kidding. That's terrible. What happened? So yeah, then she sat there and that's how I started that conversation. And we talked. And like, I think having the sort of understanding that everyone's having an emotional experience at all times, when you start to recognize that in yourself, it makes it easy for you to communicate with other people. Just like the big 4 selling emotions, new, easy, safe, and big. It's not the words. I can just simply identify that she was feeling exasperated just by her saying no words, hand on hip, deep sigh, whatever. I sense the emotion. And so what I'm saying here is it's a game of emotions. And I feel like a lot of the dating stuff is the opposite. It's tactical. Like, oh, say this. Stand like this. Stand like this when you go out in public and let them take up space. Let them know you're alpha. So I don't know, man. I just feel like, and this is just my 2 cents. You can tell me shut the hell up and you don't believe me, whatever. I think the guy who emailed you needs to watch some movies about selling. Maybe. All right. They have developed a lot of red pill rage. The Disney fairy tale fool lots of men. You need to understand female nature and hypergamy. Sure. I can understand that. Do you have any suggestions on how to create more imagery in my copy? Only part I struggle with. If you want, I'm answering. I got a bajillion emails still. If you want your questions answered, I'm gonna have to do more of these because I got so many to answer so quickly that I'm gonna have to obviously do more of these videos. I can't find these banners as fast as I want to. Here's the link to sign up to the email list. I gotta jump back into the emails now though because I've only answered like 3. All right, what's this one here? What's the best way to connect with business? That's another prospecting question. So we'll come back to that one. My question is on cold client acquisition. Okay, that's another prospecting question. We'll come back to that one because I feel like we're just get like 20 of these. Will you be doing a discount for seven pages of 7 figures anytime soon? Question mark. That's a good question. How do I do this? Doop. Hide current banner. Create banner. I need to What I need to do? Give me 1 second. Copysquad.net / triggers. If I put that over here, boom. Okay. So this reader asks, will you be doing a discount for 7 figures anytime soon? That's my leads course. So here's something that we are doing is I did a presentation. I did a leads presentation. Basically, I did a very short version of this course for Todd Brown's Top 1 Mastermind. And we are also we're going to be probably offering that as like a low cost version of the course. It's a lot more high level. It doesn't have like the same number of examples, and it doesn't have like breakdowns the way that the course actually does, but we'll be putting that out. So if budget is a problem, here's the thing. And I think I need to shift the way that I market. I probably am not really the best dude for freelance copywriters per se. Like the people I'm trying to help are sort of like people moving, or the people I'm probably best suited to help are people moving from like level 2 to level 3. And so a lot of the courses and stuff are priced for that demographic. And the content within, you have to have a baseline level a lot of times. And I try my best to do a very deep dive into all the concepts. But a lot of the stuff that's cost prohibitive is meant for folks who have like, $1,000 retainers and clients, or they have a job at a publisher, they're a full-time copywriter, or even more better that I've found, people who have like businesses or they're offer owners, they have funnels that they need to tighten and they're not getting the success they want. So the reason why some of my stuff is expensive is because I am kind of in the B2B game. Like I'm not necessarily, I want to help all the beginner copywriters that I can, but like where I can best help people is I know how I have like a lot of insights that are really powerful for folks who are at like level 2 and need to get that bump up to like senior copywriter, up to chief level, up to that kind of stuff. I can push people past those boundaries, and that's not something that a lot of people can do. A lot of people can teach you the very basic stuff, like enter the conversation in their head and like all those old chestnuts. So the answer to this is I don't know. I think we are going to do a Beats of the Sales Letter course coming up this month in March. And so the Beats of the Sales Letter is how I write body copy and do the research for that and lay all that out. And I think what will probably happen is 7 pages to 7 figures will probably be an upsell, like page 1, like OTO 1, one-time offer number 1 will probably be 7 pages to 7 figures at a discount. We'll probably record the Beats of a Sales Letter course in March, and I believe we'll probably launch it in April. So I hope that's helpful. But thanks for being a subscriber. Thanks for being on the email list. Again, for anyone wondering, we're answering questions from the email list. If you want to get on the email list, go to copysquad.net /4triggers. Barbara says, if I could give 2 seconds worth of information from a woman's point of view, have a hobby that you are interested in. A hobby is something that generates its own confidence and happiness, and you'll meet a partner in your hobby that enjoys doing the same things. Okay. So I like this. She says it's from a woman's perspective, but I think this is a really great universal way to look at it. You'll make better friends. You'll find a partner. I'm not gonna say you have a better chance of finding a partner who you can relate to and have fun with. But even Dan Bilzerian, who's like the king womanizer, right? Like he's just a absolute heathen on Instagram. He wrote a memoir called The Setup. And the whole book is sort of about this concept that Barbara's talking about here. The whole book, The Setup, which is about how Dan became like just an absolute rock star. hedonistic partier. And it all started with this setup. And so what Barber's describing here sounds a lot like that concept of, hey man, are you putting yourself in a position to succeed? Like, for instance, if you go to a bar and there's 77 dudes and 3 chicks, like, you're playing a losing game, right? Like, you're a commodity, just like a copy game, right? Just like in sales, like you're one of a gazillion. Now what? Like, do you have to have, like, does everything you say have to be on point? Like, you have to have that absolute highest level charm, wit. What if you're not very tall and she only likes tall guys, right? So, the setup, that book by Dan Bilzerian talks a lot about this. Like, he was put in a movie as an extra. He's supposed to flirt with Cameron Diaz in one scene, and they put him on camera, and they're like, "All right, do your thing, Dan." And Dan was like, "I don't know how to flirt." And they're like, "What do you mean? You're like a ladies' man." He's like, "Yeah, but I don't go get women. They come to me." And they literally go to his house by the busload, and he just sits like in his mansion, and they just ship in because they want to be models and they want to be on his Instagram and they want to go to these parties. He set it up so that he has all the stuff that they want. You see what I'm saying? So much in the same way, finding a hobby, like, hey, find someone who's already in this world enjoying this stuff, and it is a lot more organic. Like, hey, oh, you like rock climbing? I like rock climbing. I need someone to belay for me next Saturday. My partner's not coming, or I'm new to this. Can you help me out? Give me support. I don't know. These are just random things, excuses to talk to somebody. But it's like, it seems a lot more organic. That's something else, man. Like, I've met girls at bars and stuff, and it's like the only thing we have in common is we like that bar that we met at. How would you attack writing emails? All right, if you want to submit any questions, folks, this is the email list appreciation. Ask me anything. I was away to ask this in Copy Squad Lite, but saw you were live. Oh, dude, submit it through. Are you in Copy Squad Lite, brother? 1,000. Oh, hit me up in Copy Squad Lite. Subscribe to your email list, but never got any email. Make sure it doesn't go. Definitely check promotions, but definitely make sure it doesn't go in spam. Levi says, Kyle, I've been watching you for a while. Thanks so much for what you do, bro. Thanks, Levi. What's good, Mr. Copy? What up, man? Is there another deep emotion different than Nesby? Yunez asks. I mean, and their alter egos. I mean, there's plenty of emotions. I think, we're talking about the sales. Those are the big selling emotions. Dating is literally marketing. What's your USP, your story? What's your funnel? That's a dope way to look at it. You should create a dating offer. Kyle, would you say your copywriting method is different from Jim Edwards' ClickFunnels World? I'm sure. I haven't read it. I haven't read their stuff. I'll say that one of the things, I'm not supposed to be answering questions that didn't come from the email list, but I would say that because I've always been in financial, there's a different sort of style to it, and I think it has forced me to develop my own unique sort of method that I've not really seen in like the biz op space. Okay. Alessandro has a question. He says, the biggest obstacle are the people who tell me I shouldn't aspire to become a freelancer copywriter and I should go to university. All right. So, I mean, I'm sure that you've seen 1,000,001 gurus talk about this. I mean, Gary V would be your man. He would be in your corner. He would ask you, what do you want to do? And he'd cuss and spit and yell and tell you to deploy empathy and all this stuff. Like for this kind of thing, man, I remember all I can do, I can't tell you what to do. I can just give you like, what would I do? I'll tell you, because I was in this position, and it wasn't that nobody told me don't be a freelancer, but I went to school for psychology, and then I graduated with the undergrad degree in psychology. And I didn't want to go into that field as a profession. I didn't want to be like a shrink or a counselor or anything. So I went back. And the reason I chose my major for when I went back was because it was like the number 4 career based on like yahoocareers.com or something like that, back when Yahoo was a thing. And it was accounting. I went back and got a master's in accounting. I took the CPA exams and became an accountant, and I hated it. I made it like, I got fired from my first job within like a year. I got fired from my second job within like 6 months. And then I also had like $60-something thousand in student debt just from like the master's program. And Like, so I moved back in with my granny and I said, I want to be a writer. I actually spent a lot of time at my accounting jobs that where I got fired. I spent a lot of time on, I had a Surface. I had a Surface. Before Surface was a computer, Windows Surface, there was just a tablet. They had a version called this Windows Surface RT. I got the very first one. And I would just sit there and I would journal and diary basically all day at my job because I hated looking at spreadsheets. To this day, even in direct response, when I look at spreadsheets, I get like PTSD. I get like anxiety and anger. Like it just wells. I hate spreadsheets. So anyway, I went home. I went and lived with my granny. I was a master's holding, CPA passing, $60,000 in debt, 25-year-old or something. I was supposed to be a success story. I lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, near uptown Charlotte in a nice area. And I moved back home to the country and lived with my granny. And then I basically started all over and did the writing thing. So I guess the point of that story is like if I could have avoided all that and just gone straight to the writing thing, I would have. The second thing was a lot of people talked a lot of shit about me for throwing all that away. And there was even more pressure. Like, oh, you got this degree. Oh, you got this, you got that. Why would you give that up? And it's like, what am I giving up? Like depression? Like, it's the most miserable state of existence in history. So for me, it wasn't giving anything up. I remember when I got my first royalty check was from a book I wrote. I wrote a couple novels back in the day. It was $13. And I was thrilled, man. I like got a check in the mail for a book I had written for $13. My granny, she said, "Uh-oh, someone better call Brinks." Brinks are like security trucks that transport money between like banks. So but like that was so much like that's what I'm trying to say, man. Like I appreciated that $13 so much more than my degree, my CPA test, or my stupid job where I wore a tie and slacks and just worked in a cubicle. So I mean, like, what I'm trying to say is like when it comes to like, university, like, do you want to go to university? Is there a craft that you want to master there? Or is there something very specific or important? Like, I don't ask anybody if they went to college when I interview them. I don't know if any of my writers. I know one. I know Zan went to college, Alexan, but I don't know if my other writers did. So I like this because you didn't really ask a question. All I could really try to do is relay a story to you, and I hope it gives you some perspective. I hope it gives you like hope. That's the other thing. Like, I guess the advice I would give you is like you have to be like everybody wants you to do the safe thing. They want you to fall in line. They want you to fit in, and they do this with the best of intentions. So at the end of the day, you got to have like a super strong sense of self if you're going to go against that. It's a lot of pressure. And you have to cultivate that yourself. You have to have like a really strong level of comfort with like the worst case scenario. And then you just kind of got to dive in, man. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. I hope that's helpful. I got more comments. Let's see what we got going on here. Eunice, I want to work in the biz out niche, but there's a lot of guru liars. Yeah. And that's just true, man. Any tips to avoid them and get real people? Yeah, man, I would say you've got to buy their products, buy their products and try them. Like, for instance, I wrote a sales letter for Robert Kiyosaki. I also wrote a sales letter for James Altucher. I bring them both up because I read their books and I was so thrilled that I could write something for them. And while sales copy might be very hypey, like sales copy might be like, oh my God, it's so exciting, blah, blah, blah. Like Robert Kiyosaki changed the way I look at money and changed my life forever. And I was like, he's helped so many people. I have no problem, no guilt or shame or remorse or any weird feelings about writing for that kind of person. So if you want to avoid them, the best way is to, dive into their product, read their book, see if it's garbage, Javier says, everyone is telling me to become a CPA. It's literally just spreadsheets and formulas like all day, every day. Marcora says, same situation, Kyle. I'm in medicine third year. As a side hustle, I'm doing marketing and advertising. That sounds like a full-time. That sounds like a full-time gig, man. That sounds like a lot on your plate. Much like Hormozy, so inspiring. Thanks. Top G says, "I love you." Thank you. I love you too. All right. People won't remember you for more than even an hour after your death, so I listen and do what you want. Oh yeah, Hormozy just said that recently, right? By the way, anyone who's got questions, thanks so much for the comments. Anyone's got questions, you can send it to the email list, copysquad.net/4/4triggers. I'm trying to answer people from my email list because this is like my way of trying to pay back the email list people and show them some love. Ol says, Kyle, so the thing is I've tried to study copywriting, haven't really got enough time to take day after day. I guess you can say when learning because I'm in 9th grade and I have final exams and stuff. So you think I'd continue studying copywriting bit by bit or wait till I have enough time to learn like a few hours a day? You just keep doing what you're doing. Like just get your understanding, just get familiar with it. You're 9th grade. You're crushing it. I didn't start learning this stuff till I was like 28. Javier says, I ended up knowing you because of Mark Ford. He guided me to pursue copywriting. I had Mark Ford on my podcast. You seen the Kyle Milligan show? That was like a career highlight of mine, having Mark Ford sitting across from me, smoking cigars, talking on a podcast. By the way, I'm on 81 of 143 pages. That's dope. Like, you're doing it. You're doing it. Top G says, I don't believe in myself, and I'm able to make it like you. Why don't you believe in yourself? Where does that come from? Marcor, do I work out? Here's a question that I'll answer that didn't come from the email list. Yes. Though I had I have like an old person bad back problem. I something slipped a disc in my L5S1. Thinking about going to do stem cells like Joe Rogan, but I had to give up deadlifting, and I've been having like identity crisis for like the past 2 months. Like I was so proud and like I had so much pride in my deadlifting. Javier saw the Mark Ford podcast. That was a month after I talked to him as well. Very cool guy. Very like just regular dude, super nice. Love Mark Ford. All right, this is a cold outreach email. I'm going to come back to these cold outreach emails and answer them. Try to do them all like once, basically. Niche down or not niche down? Okay, I can answer this. Let's do this. Here we go. Let me do this question. Copy squad. Boop, boop. Banner. Boop, boop. All right, some Tala. Tala says, 2 questions, Kyle. Niche down or not niche down? Been writing landing pages, VSL, emails, everything copy. 2, what would you do if you have good copy samples but no numbers to show? All right. The first thing is always niche down. There's an example in Alex Hormozy's book called $100 Million Offers, where he shows like how Dan Kennedy used niching down to basically increase his prices by continually getting more targeted and more specialized with his offer. So the answer is basically always niche down. And with the internet, there's pretty much unlimited prospects in virtually every category. Always niche down. You can still write landing pages, VSLs, and emails, but do it for, pick something: health, wealth, or happiness. Or what is it like? You call it health copy, you could call it financial copy, or dating copy. Right now, the relationship gurus, the dating gurus, the pickup gurus there's a resurgence there. It's coming back strong. It's got a presence on YouTube. That's a growing area if you're a copywriter. There's a lot of guys who are doing the thing organically and don't have, like, I've looked at some of their funnels and they're just atrocious. So there's opportunity in dating. I've been paying a lot of attention to that. What would you do if you have good copy samples with no numbers to show? Do you so the numbers are the result, but do you have experiences that you can use to sort of bolster your credibility is essentially what you're looking for. The result is the purest thing that you could offer. Say, hey, I made this many millions of dollars. Even at a point, that stuff starts to sound just like monopoly money. It doesn't make a lot of difference, like because everybody on LinkedIn and Facebook is they're like a $300 billion copywriter or some ridiculous shit. So, like what you want to do is there's a million different ways to build cred. What would you do if you have good copy samples with no numbers to show? If I've got a YouTube video that says like 4 things copy chiefs want. I'm not sure what the title of that video is, but the content is there's 4 things that copy chiefs are looking for. And then at the beginning of that video, I identify I don't go on samples. You're going to do something. If you want to work for me, you got to do something bespoke, something just for me. So I know it didn't come from your last copy chief. So I know you didn't swipe or steal it. I'm going to give you like a writing assignment so I can tell that you didn't have an opportunity to get this from elsewhere. So I don't even take copy samples because how many of my former writers, because I've technically worked with like hundreds. I've personally like really hardcore chief, like dozens. And so any of them could take one of the early pieces of work that we did together in their first months of copy and be like, hey, here's a promo I wrote. But my fingerprints are all over it. My writing and edits are all over it. Are they really that good? So the samples thing is doesn't even matter. For me, like the way you could also, here's another video you could check out, how to easily get a job at Agora Financial. When Agora was at its like peak height, it was like a $300 million company that year. I got in there. And the way that I did it, I explain it over that video. It's like, it's a pretty deep video. I explain how I got the job. And it really was, I had no copy experience. I had no idea what I was doing. But I told them I had been in sales. I'd leased apartments and I worked on phone sales. And I was really excited to learn. And I was a nerd. That's how I told them I should get the job, because I'm a very initiative, like focused, like good candidate in that way. So I'm not saying that you should do that for a freelancer client. Like, hey, I got a lot of initiative, hire me. Because a job wants someone with initiatives, they can train them. Freelance client does not want to train you. They want the opposite. That's why they go to freelancers. They don't want the burden of having to coach you. They don't want the burden of having to hold your hand. That's why they go to the freelancer market. They want to outsource that burden. So what you want to do is simply provide instances in which you successfully help someone outsource a burden. How about that? Okay? Show them how you were able to help people get work off of their plates and how you went the extra mile for them. Because that's really the result that someone looking for a freelancer wants, is they don't have the capacity, bandwidth, or resources to do it themselves or train somebody. So they're looking out to the expert freelancer market and hoping that someone can come in and just do it. Just do it. All right? So I hope that's useful. Tala. Thank you. All right. I like this one from Harry. I'm gonna do this. Shit, too long. He says thanks in advance for my biggest problem. Okay, I'll just delete this stuff. He says thanks. I'll read it to you, but I'll just copy the question. Makes me grab my phone or go to YouTube, and it's annoying. Let me see if I can get this to shrink and fit in a screenshot. Okay, hold on. I'm going to screenshot this one because it's too long. All right, here we go. Answering Harry's question next. And okay, while I'm doing this, by the way, for anyone who would like to have their questions answered in one of these AMAs, one of these email list appreciation AMAs, you can go to copysquad.net/4triggers. You'll get a free PDF teaching you the big 4 selling emotions, and you'll join the email list and you can ask cool questions like these. I'm such a marketer. All right. Let's see. It says, hey, Kyle, first of all, I appreciate that you took time out of your day to answer our problems. My biggest problem is being focused for a long period of time without getting distracted. For example, I will be doing copy for 45 minutes to 1 hour, and then something clicks, or I see something that makes me grab my phone or go to YouTube, and it's annoying things in advance. All right, well, there's two resources that kind of dive into this idea. What you're describing is neuroplasticity. That's kind of it. So you're saying at about an hour, something clicks. So this is just science. When I talk about deep work, so you could read the book Deep Work, kind of explains and dives into what you're experiencing here. Deep Work by Cal Newport. Okay. I do increments of 1 hour, 2 hours a day. I do 1 hour, 1 60-minute sprint. And then I stop, I do some shallow work or take a breather, and then I do 1 60-minute sprint for 2 total hours of deep work. If you do this every day, it does not seem like a lot, like only 2 hours. I'm a hustler. You actually waste a lot of that time. Most people do anyway. You're actually not doing focused deep work like described in the book Deep Work by Cal Newport. So this is normal. So I actually block hours of the day specifically for this. So I do a 1 hour sprint and then I give myself that breather and then I do a 1 hour sprint because your brain has about 4 hours. The most advanced, like the way he put it in the book is like the most advanced concert violinist, like professional musicians cannot practice more than like 4 hours a day. Like their brain will just shut off. It'll start to lose focus. It won't understand what it's doing, won't process information anymore. That's if you do like the most intense, rigorous, deep work, which is why I fall somewhere down to something more moderate, like 2 hours of deep work. And the other thing is that you can only do focused stuff for so long. I think you can go like, he says maybe 90 minutes in the book. I know some people that try to do 2 90-minute sessions, but I don't want that kind of strain. I want something that I can reliably do every day because that's how I hit my first 6 figures. And then I probably stretched it when I did hit 7 figures one year. But the point I'm trying to make is that constant creation absolutely destroys like this deadline driven like spike in productivity. That constant like relaxed flow state. Okay, that's what we're trying to achieve is a flow state. We don't want panic. So when we started my agency, one of the things I started saying all the time, all day, every day, I said, we're going to set up systems and we're going to work on copy in such a way that we blast everyone out of the water in both speed and quality. What we're going to do is we're going to look like we're working at a breakneck pace, but we're actually just going to be efficient. What we will always try to avoid in my agency is we want to work efficiently, not frenetically. A lot of people work frenetically. They have a deadline and they just cram. What we want to do is we want to do the right things steadily. We want to always sort of maintain a flow state. And that's what the 2 hours of deep work every day sort of allow you to do. You don't want to redline every day. It's not sustainable. Because like for instance, people writing emails, I try to let them know, especially in our Copy Squad Lite program, like think of this email as 1 in 10,000. Like in your career, you're going to write tens of thousands of these. Like give every email about 2 to 3 drafts. Like definitely don't just send your first draft. Give them about 3 drafts, okay? 3 revisions. And then just remember it's 1 of 10,000 and they're not all going to work. So you have to sort of take that long game. Like copywriting is sort of like a game of portfolio. Like when you buy stocks, some kick out dividends and some explode in value and stuff like that. With copy, it's the same thing. You write sales promotions. Some sales promotions are going to absolutely take off and make you very wealthy. Some are going to hardly do anything. So what you want to do is you want to sort of just keep focusing on the dollar cost averaging of your efforts. So you're looking at this. What's the word valence mean? I think that's almost the word I want to use here. What's a simple definition? It's not the word I want to use. You're sort of looking at this as a good or bad is what I'm trying to say. You're saying I'll work for 45 minutes to an hour and then something clicks and you say it's annoying. You never heard that expression, listen to your body? It might be time for a break, brother. There might be some hustle guru on there telling you on the internet that he works for 17 hours a day. But man, like the sort of natural order here. Now, if you want to extend that, I mentioned neuroplasticity at the beginning. So, for instance, if you want to be a marathon runner, you first start by running 3 miles, and then you run 4 miles, and then you run 5 miles, right? If you want to extend that, you have to break through that barrier and start pushing yourself. If you're going 40, start at 45, and then every day do 55, and then every day do an hour and 5, and then every day do like an hour 20 or an hour 10, because it's going to get harder and harder as you break through barriers. Neuroplasticity is just the idea that your brain is basically a muscle, except instead of like hypertrophy, right? That's where you tear muscles and they build back. You basically fire neurons. And so the more you fire them, the stronger they become. So you have to sort of you have to push just a little bit past your comfort zone and get them to strengthen every time. And what I would probably do is do it for a week at 45, a week at 55, a week at, and so on and so on. And if I think maybe don't go any higher than 90 minutes, I'm telling you, you don't need to do that to become successful. You don't need to do like 7 hours. I think what's really more important is you do the right activity. And that brings me back full circle, deep work. Deep work, the definition basically is it's the creative process that only you can produce. You couldn't hire a college graduate assistant to do that work. It's something very unique and specific to you that you must do to create new value. And you only need to do that for 2 hours a day. You can do all your prospecting and you can do all your other stuff and all the other stuff the rest of the day. 2 hours of deep work a day. Okay. So I hope that helps. Very long answer to your question there, Harry. Hope that covers it though. We got some comments. So here's what I'm going to do. CopySquad.net/4triggers. This is the email list appreciation. Ask me anything number 1. And if you want to join that email list and get appreciation, you can go to CopySquad.net/4triggers. All right, let's see what we got going on here. What's my favorite exercise? Well, used to be deadlifts, I guess. I guess now it'd be squats. I can still squat. I think it's the hinging motion in my spine that hurts that disc. Top G says, I read your book, Take Their Money. It's awesome. But how to get clients and what niche should I go into? Okay, we're going to probably look at this towards the end of this stream. Yep. Guys, I don't know what that means. Javier says, I want to build funnels for people. I'm building my skills. Good, man. Good. Mark Horses, I agree with that LinkedIn part. Eunice says, I'll download and re-listen to it as a podcast. Top G says, do I have to work at Agora to make millions, or can I do the same thing freelancing, the same amount? All right, I will answer this. You have to understand that, like, I've explained this in other like videos. People think there's like an average when it comes to copywriting income. Like there's like a bell curve, like in the middle, and it flattens out. But it's really an exponential curve. So I'm trying to get my finger in the camera, woo, like that. And what I mean by that is almost all copywriters make $0. There's a small percentage that make 7 figures. There's a lot of things that have to line up. So you're asking if you can make the same amount freelancing. If you're writing sales promotions, you can get royalties. I know some people get royalties for emails. Maybe they write like a lot of emails that have like the sales messaging in it and they sell through the emails. I write traffic driving emails. They push to a sales promotion, usually one that we wrote. And so I work with some companies that are millions, a couple $1 million companies. So, and what I mean by that is they're like somewhere like 5 million, 10, 20 million, something like that, right? So once you get like above like 20 some odd to like when you hit about 50, you're big. Like you're a big company. But you can kind of go up to that like $20 million mark and still be a pretty small team. But what matters there is like, how do you reach new people, and how do you maximize the lifetime value of the people that you have? And one reason I'm saying that is because as a copywriter, that's out of your control. Like if you're writing the bombest sales promotion, I mean bomb in a good way, you're writing one of the best sales promotions ever, and you're writing it for a company that cannot get more than 3 people on their list a year, you're not going to make millions. There's a lot of things that you have to understand. I've seen other guys who do like rev shares of the company, like revenue deals. I don't even know how to do that. I just take a percentage of the I take a percentage of revenue for my sales promotion. And so that's how we get paid. So what I mean to say by all that is like a lot of that stuff's outside of your control, and a very lucky few make it to the $1 million mark. What I will say is that this idea of hating jobs or hating having a boss or only wanting to work for yourself is a limiting factor. Like the reason I'm able to do what I did is because I worked at Agora, and Evaldo Albuquerque was my first copy chief. And then I was able to work on promotions and get, like this gold record. Kyle Milligan, 51,000 front end sales in 2018. So like Agora had a massive list, and I had a great copy chief. And then Joe Schriefer was our publisher, and he mentored me as well. Ryan McGrath also mentored me. Like I had to go be an employee to do that, to garner that skill set, and to talk to those people. They wouldn't have done that if I was a freelancer, right? So everyone wants to go straight into freelancing. They want all of the freedom, and they want none of the responsibility or accountability or the investment of time and effort and sacrifice, because they feel like it's subservient to be an employee, even if you're a 6-figure employee. Like you're doing better than like everybody if you go to like a nice company with their stuff together, and they'll teach you how systems, and they'll give you a process for your craft. Like we have a whole master class inside of Copy Squad Lite. Again, if you subscribe to Copy Squad Lite for $47, you get all of these immediately as part of the membership. So there's a whole master class in there that basically teaches you how to get your foot in the door at a publisher or at a job and work there for a year or two. And then you can, the longer you're in there and the more you learn, the higher you go up in those organizations, the more you can write your ticket for real. But a lot of people don't want to pay their dues. Barbara says, degrees equals cubicles, cog, and someone else's wheel. Freelance, you are your only limit. See, that's the antithesis of what I just said. I don't subscribe to this. No, because I just don't believe that for all the things that I just said, though. I want to say that I can back that up because I have 3 BSAs and an MBA, and you get trapped by a salary that's too large for you to leave, but in reality, freedom will give you greater income. Now, this I agree with. Golden handcuffs. So what you want to do is avoid the comfort trap. You want to avoid the golden handcuffs. But freelancing, sure, technically you're your only limit, but I would say like your reference experiences, your pedigree, the people you've worked with are big factors that contribute. Benjamin made a mistake when he's 19. He can do 45 by 3 or 45 by 4. Might be talking about deadlifting and stuff. Benjamin says, no one works as much as they say, specifically in front of a computer. All right. Harry said, just joined, and that's my email. Whoa, awesome, Harry. I appreciate it, buddy. Schwartz did a 33-minute sessions as well. Well, there you go. Barbara says, 23 years in a cubicle, then 14 years of freedom. So, Barbara, I think, one of the things that you might also have is you said you have an MBA, a BSA, and you had 23 years of work experience. So there's probably a lot of stuff that you were able to glean just from having more life experience that would make you a more valuable freelancer from your working days. A lot of these folks are like 19, never had a job, or this will be their first job, and they want to go straight into freelancing and make enough income to have that pina colada on the beach lifestyle. Hey, Carter. OLL asks, quick question, not sure how personal is, but are you into real estate or you earn mainly from copywriting? I was looking into real estate, and then they just raised mortgage rates again. I've always wanted to get into it, but I'm the kind of person who, whatever I do, I kind of jump in with both feet. And so right now, until my agency and this info pub of Copy Squad can run without me, like you might notice, I'm kind of the branding has morphed from Kyle Milligan copywriter to Copy Squad. I'm trying to slowly allow other people to help me run the squad. And when I feel more comfortable with that, I will jump into real estate. Mark Corey says, I like this about Kyle. He gives at least 15 CTAs to and a one live stream. Leslie says, love to know the emails, in your opinion, are the best to focus on getting great at to sell emails as a service. Emails for local, online. I'm not exactly sure. BT Dub, I'm going to throw out another call to action here. Like he said, if you want to get on the email list, this is my email list appreciation. Ask me anything. Number one, I'll answer emails from my email list. Get on that email list at copysquad.net/4triggers. All right, man. Hey, I'm loving this. There's a lot of engagement here. I was going to ask for Rivaldo. He's the man. Kyle, what's that gold type thing on your wall? Yeah, it's just like when ClickFunnels gives you those records when you hit like 2 comma club and all that stuff. Agora did it for people who hit like certain like top sales benchmarks as sort of a way to recognize some of their best performing copywriters. So this one here, I'll move this one more time. It just says Kyle Milligan, and then it says, if I move my computer, it might jack up because the way it's docked. But it says 51,000 sales. This is Kyle Milligan, 51,000 front end sales in 2018. So that was like the year I became the $7.1 million man. That's like my big marketing number that I use. I think once you go to like past 100 million or whatever in your marketing, it just becomes monopoly money, and it just doesn't seem relatable or real. I like that $7.1 million. I like that almost better than my $50 million number. So at Wealth Press, when I was copy chief at Wealth Press, they were about $11 million business when I joined. And in the next year when I was the copy chief, we went to $50 million. Fun fact. Cameron says, I'm in Scotland, UK. Doesn't seem like there are many copy jobs here. Would you suggest trying to apply for remote jobs? Sure, man. Copywriting. Most of my team's down here in South Florida, but one of my writers, Cody, he's in Canada. All right. Mateus. Hello, Copy Squad. All right. I'm Mateus, 18-year-old Brazilian, studying a lot about copy with you Americans. Could you make a video or teach in this live how to build a good lead? Maybe not in this live. I think I do have stuff on leads. Maybe I don't. I don't know. That's a good question. Do you think copywriting is a good way to escape 9-to-5 or rat race? If you put in efforted and stuff, of course, and learn copyright. If you put in effort and stuff. See, that's what I was saying earlier. Escape the 9. This is what I'm talking about. Escape the 9-to-5 job or the rat race. You're gonna here's this. I get it. Especially if you're working like a dead end job or like this is my salary, you're trading time for dollars. Copywriting is a great alternative. I understand wanting to escape the 9-to-5. I understand wanting to escape the rat race. That was my primary thing. But you're going to have to work. And as a copywriter, you might have to work more. My last girlfriend, we were hanging out and I needed something from Manny had another draft or something, his 5th draft or something was coming through. And I told her, I was like, hey man, let's do lunch. I told the girl I was hanging out with, hey man, let's have lunch that day. But at 3, I have to get on a call with Manny and go over his 5th draft with him. And it was Saturday. And she said something like, wow, you guys, she said something like copywriters have boundary issues. And I was like, I know what you mean. She's saying you guys, you don't take weekends. You call Manny at 10 at night and just be like, hey, you ready to talk about this draft? So yes, copywriting, at least, the way that we approach it, because we're kind of zealots in a way, it's more demanding than the 9-to-5 and the rat race. So I think I just want to instill that knowledge in folks, because I feel like they think it's this stupid 1 hour You work 1 hour a week and you sit in a hammock on a beach. You can work from anywhere and go do. Man. I work. I mean I can feel like I gladly do it. I do it. It's more fun. But I want to make people aware that it's still work. All right, Mateus, if possible, leave a caption. Leave the caption option enabled. Helps me understand what you're talking about. I'm not very fluent in English. Okay, Mateus. Keep that in mind. I think Google or YouTube sort of figures that out. Justin says CS Lite is a bargain for the value Kyle gives. Yes, I'm in CS Lite. If you want to join Copy Squad Lite, copysquad.net/lite. This is like my 19th. What call to actions are we gonna go with, man? Pitch 10 different products. Leslie says I'm on your list, but different name. I saw those during a tour of Agora a few years ago. Oh, so you saw the gold records on the wall? Beach life. There it is. Beach life, baby. I'm 42, been in sales to one degree or another all my working life. Have a AA in English. I just passed AWAI and I'm working to be a freelancer. My goal is 3 to 5K a month and I'm good. Perfect. And look at this. This is a person who's 42 years old and is looking for 3 to 5K a month. This sounds like a mature, like a mentally mature person who has understood like how working works, how money works. Like people are coming out of high school living on Snapchat. I'm not even Snapchat anymore. How old am I? TikTok. People are coming out of high school on TikTok and they want to make like $10 gazillion a month for a dance routine that they copied off of 3 billion other TikToks. This is kind of like how money and working works. Like you and then, hey man, if he gets 3 to 5K, he's good. But hey man, maybe if a client needs 1 or 2 extra things, he can add another service, or if he gets into it and finds himself with more free time, he can take one more client. Like that's what I call reasonable expectations. Marcora says, wow, seems kind of an achievement to be proud of. Like the record? Yeah, man, that's why I put it in all the videos. I should probably get the microphone out of the way though, huh? I guess it's the same. You see the record. Cody, what up? Cody says he traded his 9 to 5 for a 9 to 9. Yeah, so Cody's on the Copy Squad. Cody writes for us, and he knows that experience. Oh, Cody, by the way, it's 3 o'clock. I was supposed to be on that call with you right now. This ran longer than I thought. I'll get you after. Javier, can you talk more about what it is to be a copywriter at Agora, like what you sell? Yeah, for one moment, then I got to go back to the email list. Because there's still a boatload of questions. So like you sell financial newsletters, all right? So what that means is, all right, say I am your buddy. Say my name's Dan. My name's Dan, and I have a bunch of money invested in the stock market. And you go, Dan, how do you know what to pick in the stock market? And I go, oh man, it changes every week. It's like, I have a bit of a system that I follow, but like, I basically have to like watch the market 24/7, and I have to plug in all these numbers and you go, whoa. I don't want to learn how to do that. What if I just give you like $40 a year and you send me like a new stock every month? Just tell me why I should buy it. And then Dan thinks to himself, not a bad idea. I could do that. I mean, I'm trading these stocks anyway. I'll just send you a report every month about my latest favorite stock, and you can just invest if you want or don't. That's the product. That's an investment newsletter. That's what front ends are. Back ends are going to be riskier products. Back ends are going to be $2,000 a year. And they're going to offer you like, hey, trade this they're going to give you something new every week or so. There'll be a lot more touches, but it's going to be a lot more like, but you got to be ready because this is a very volatile stock and we might have to get out very quick. So it's a $2,000 product. They require a lot more hand holding. And that's it. It's the whole model. Then we write sales promotions for those things. Dan, there's a Daniel right there. Daniel, Kyle, you are the best. Thank you. Steve92. What up, Steve? All right, we're going to go back to the email list questions. I'm hoping that this is going to make for some good clips that we can put out on the old YouTube. If you want to join the email list, this is my email list appreciation. Ask me anything #1. You want to join the email list? Go to copysquad.net/4triggers. Check that out. Get you a free PDF about the big four selling emotions. This guy's trying to land his first client, so I'm going to hold that till the end. What's this one? This dude, he asked about how to get clients as well, but he asked it in a funny way. We'll come back to that. What's Matthew say? Matthew says, I want to see what your thoughts are on copywriting certifications. I like this question. This is a good question. I like this question because it's not how do I get clients. It's like I just getting the standards are dropping. I'm like, just ask me anything about copy. All right. Oh wait, I want to get rid of his name. I don't want his whole name on there. I'll leave it as Matt. People will often ask about like, well, what do you do about testimonials? Are you allowed to use their names and blah 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 blah? A lot of times we just change their names or give them like, so for instance, this is an abbreviated version of this person's name in order to preserve his privacy. See how it's not identifying anymore? There's no last name. So I mean, like, that's how you do testimonials and copy. Just FYI, by the way. All right, it says, morning, Kyle. I want to see your thoughts are about copywriting certifications and if you think they'll help a copywriter get work over others. Best regards, Matt. I'm going to answer first, high level, broad strokes. No, I do not think copywriting certifications help at all. Now let's dive into the why, the nuance. For instance, there is no copywriting certification that you could bring to me that I would feel would make you any more qualified. I think a copywriting certification is something that makes for a nice offer piece for people selling copywriting courses and certifications. The reason I would say no is because there is no certification or institution that I recognize as credible or powerful enough to influence my decision. That's where the problem is. The problem is the name at the top of the certification has to resonate with me as a very credible institution. One that I know only produces certain types of copywriters. And not one of them comes to mind. Here's another analogy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with, if you have friends who've ever worked in bars or bartenders, but I remember I had like a romanticism with becoming a bartender back when I was in college. And so my first thought was like, should I go to bartending school? And when I asked a actual bartender that question, they sort of like, it was like, the answer was no. And if you do go to bartending school, it's going to hurt your chances. Like, people don't like people that think they learned bartending from bartending school. They hate it, actually. And they will not hire you if you come in talking about the bartending school you went to. They only care if you've bartended before or if you're new. So I feel like certifications sort of fall in that bucket as well. It feels like, and the reason is, again, I don't believe there's any sort of institution that really rigorously makes you earn it. Like what institution would tell you no? Is there anywhere that you would get a certification where someone tried and they paid money and they went through the program and they at the end failed? There's no merit. That's why. So the answer is no. I would never let that weigh on my decision. For instance, one of my biggest case studies is Rodney. Rodney even has a product with the Copy Squad. It's called Rodney's Rundown. He also has a masterclass inside of Copy Squad Lite. Rodney joined Copy Squad Inner Circle and submitted copy. And when I saw the way that he was labeling his copy, he was using the same labels and terms that I use because he had watched my sales letter breakdowns. He had no writing experience, definitely not a certification. And what I didn't know at the time was he's like slightly dyslexic. Like, he has like a reading disability. But I hired him like on the spot. I was like, this dude looks at copy as a mechanical perspective, the same way that I do, about what you need to achieve in each section, in each line, how you need to trigger certain emotions. He was trying to do it that way. And I said, well, if I just teach him the right technique and he already has the format and the structure that he's borrowing from me and watching my videos inside a Copy Squad Inner Circle, I can make this dude $1 million copywriter. And I sure as fuck did. In the first year, he got his first $1 million promotion. And now he's a senior copywriter at Wealth Press, and he trains new copywriters. And he uses the system that I offered to him whenever he joined under my tutelage when I was the copy chief at Wealth Press. And the reason I say all that is because I didn't give a shit about any certification. I don't even care if you graduated high school. So there. That's the answer to that question. All right, cool. This is the email list appreciation. Ask me anything. If you want to join the email list, you can go to copysquad.net/4triggers and join today. All right, here we go. I don't understand this question. He says, do you do the same? I think the problem is when I bounce from the comment section back to the emails, I sort of lose track. Do I do the same with health niche? I'm not sure. Leslie just joined Copy Squad Lite. Okay, cool. Maybe I should invite people to join Copy Squad Lite. You can join the email list, sure. There's copysquad.net/Lite if you want to join Copy Squad Lite. Steve says, I'm not even good at copy yet. Never mind finding clients. Is it true 5K to 10K is a sweet spot where you don't overwork at the same time earn enough to live a good life? Living single, I mean. Maybe. Yeah, you could get like one or two clients. Like you could do like one or two clients at like 2,000 or 3,000 a month and hit 5K. Or you get like one 5K client, you know? Another one. So when I finish my take their money. So this is tough to read, brother. Like if I can't read your question, you got to work on that first, right? Like if you're trying to sell things with the written word. Another one. So when I finish my take their money thing you made, what's next? I then try making my own copies or look for jobs or what? Look for a job. You need mentorship. You need someone to look. This is you typing this nonsense that I can't read right now. And if you were here, this is your hand. This is me. Stop doing that. Can't read this. There's no punctuation. Can't be. You need someone. I can tell by your writing. You need somebody to kind of slap your hand, keep you in line, and tell you when you're making mistakes. That sort of mentorship is going to be very important. Barb's an oldie but a goodie. Mark says, that sure looks very cool. Where did you get it from? I think I got this from Macy's. I just kind of like when we go to the mall, I just sort of bounce around. When I get shirts, I like the flower shirts. So we went out today and I was wearing like a t-shirt. We went to lunch. In Florida, it's like, I don't know, 80 degrees, 90 degrees outside. But I can't wear a regular cotton t-shirt. I have to wear something like this weird sort of like sweat wicking fabric. I have to like unbutton it all the way because like I hate being hot and sweaty. It just drives me nuts. Especially like I'm just sitting there trying to have a cheeseburger. Like I don't want to live like that. The Agora process you mentioned, you use the same with health. You can. Leslie says, I love your pattern-driven approach to writing copy. That's why I joined Copy Squad Lite. Looking forward to having you as my mentor. Well, thank you very much, Leslie. I appreciate it. All right, so here we go. Let's jump back into the emails. Still got over 20 to answer. Oh my goodness, an hour and a half in. Let's see. This person struggles with finding clients. Looking to build my biz. Let's see what it says. Getting leads. Okay. More engagement. All right. Okay, I'm going to try to answer this question because he's not really asking just how to get clients, but I'm going to need to snip this because it's kind of a really long question. So what we'll do, we'll pull this out of there and try to get it to fit in a little box. One second, folks. I got to snip this question. It's kind of long. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. It's time to talk to my boy, Nathan. He's got a question about Actually, I need to blow it up. I can't tell. All right. Let's get rid of the banners really quick. I can zoom in on this. All right. Here we go. If you want to join the email list and get a free PDF, copysquad.net/4triggers. Okay. He says, can I just get this slider just a little bit? Hey, Kyle. Hey, Kyle. Love your content and vibes. My question, looking to build my biz, offer is high performance mindset program for tennis players where I help them overcome pressure, boost confidence, and get a higher ranking, and book as many calls probably as possible. I struggle with getting leads to comment or respond to my CTAs. I feel sometimes the topic of mindset and mental training feels a bit vulnerable, especially when they know others are also able to see them respond. Any suggestions you have? More engagement and people comment, reply. I know Say from Big Four is key. Let me know. Thanks. Okay. So one easy tactic here is make sure that they're not having to publicly display their vulnerabilities, and instead offer them like a way to talk privately. So for instance, like if it's a Facebook, like you're saying comment and reply. If it's a Facebook or maybe Twitter or Instagram thing, a classic move is just say reply with interested. Like you could write your whole pitch like, hey, I'm going to help you get through this problem. I'm going to help you achieve this. Reply with the word interested in the comments, and I'll send you a free something. Or I'll reply or DM me, even more private, could be send me a DM with the word interested for more information. That way you can remove the public shame of them having to admit that they have mindset issues or them feeling insecure about that. You can sort of get rid of that hurdle. That's one of the things. A lot of times in copy, it's not knowing exactly what to do, it's knowing all the things not to do. And this sounds like one of those things like, well, you don't want them to have to reckon with their embarrassment on a public, social media platform or something, because this does ask for comments and replies. The other thing might not be the vulnerability aspect. It might just be your copy, right? I struggle with getting leads to comment and respond to my CTAs. Are you selling what they're buying, right? Does your result, like, maybe what you're trying to do is validate an offer and it didn't work. So a lot of times before you sell something, you want to validate the market or validate the offer or see if this is like something in demand. Have you done that? Do you know people are already buying what it is that you're offering? Is there a hot market for that? Are there people who feel like that? They struggle with that. I think, think about like the whole like having a conversation with the guy at the bar kind of thing. If you're coming at it with like, I help people overcome their limiting beliefs in tennis. Is that something that like a dude like opening up to you at the bar would say, like, I got such limiting beliefs about tennis? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you selling? Is your messaging what they're thinking? Are you selling what they're buying? Are you messaging what they're saying back to them? You know what I mean? The other thing that's really important, I've seen this with manifestation guys. Whenever so I've got people inside Copy Squad who work on like law of attraction, spirituality, and manifestation niches. And I'll see like, what is the result? Like, manifest your dreams. What is that? Like, what? Put something tangible in front of me. Put me like paint the picture. What's the result? Manifesting my dreams isn't a result. So that's the same thing I'm saying here, man. I'm not sure. Overcome pressure, boost confidence. Higher rankings probably the most tangible, concrete thing that you've got here, right? You see what I'm saying? So, what is boost confidence? Okay, so let me give you I'm gonna give you an analogy. Okay, so I've got gripes with the self-improvement space, and one of them is the pursuit of happiness. I did a podcast with John Benson on the Kyle Milligan Show, which is my other YouTube channel, and we were talking. He was talking about all these problems of the world and stuff like that, And when he was done, I was like, we can all agree the real culprit here, who's really responsible, is the Good Vibes t-shirt. Like, the Good Vibes t-shirt destroyed America. And what I mean by that is, like, self-improvement is this never, like, relentless pursuit of happiness. But really, happiness is sort of like, it's an emotion, just like sadness is an emotion. Anger is an emotion, and fear, and joy, and disgust. Emotions are not good or bad. They just are. They're signals, okay? They're signals that some sort of action needs to be taken. So I'll reference one more time. Antonio Damasio was like the leading emotion scientist. If you go to my Take Their Money sales page, I have like a short story about how Antonio Damasio, here, copysquad.net/book. You can read it in the sales page. And how he learned about emotions and their impact on decision making. And one of the things that this part is not in the sales page, but one of the things that he said are like, emotions are action requiring, like, neurological impulses. So essentially, when you get an emotion, there's an impulse to take some sort of action, right? So if it's anger, maybe it's to defend yourself. If it's fear, that could be like fight, flight, or freeze or something like that. If it's disgust, if you're drinking sour milk and you feel disgust, spit it out. Why am I saying all this? This is the analogy I'm building with you. Boost confidence, to me, sounds like that whole pursue happiness. What would be more unique and original would be like, turn, be like something like, how do I put this? Channel your anger and fear into allies, for unlimited happiness. So it's almost like counterintuitive. Like, don't tell me to boost confidence. Tell me how to thoroughly process my anxiety for infinite confidence. You see what I'm saying? Tell me how to thoroughly process performance anxiety. Tell me how to cultivate the fear of performing in front of people, in front of an audience, right? Overcome pressure. So you say overcome pressure. So you get the pressure of the crowds. How to transform your anxiety. I help tennis players transform anxiety into excitement to achieve a higher ranking. You see what I'm saying there? Like, I know I've got anxiety when I go out on the tennis court. I know I've got like this fear of failure and perfectionism, right? If I feel like, I'm gonna boost your confidence, it doesn't eliminate my problem. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying here is a lot of people, like I'm talking, going back to my analogy, like the self-improvement and guru hype space, spirituality, it's always like happiness, happiness, happiness. And they try to minimize the bad emotions. But the reality, the actual path to success is to learn how to work with those bad emotions, because emotions aren't good or bad. They just are. They're signals. So if you could promise that they can make friends with these problems in their life, or promise that they can reverse it, or promise that, they can eliminate that, that's more close to home and tangible than boost confidence. Like, if I have anxiety, I live with that. If I've got, performance pressure, or like the fear of failure, or appearing less than, or appearing unprepared on the tennis court, right? That's real. That's real concrete shit that lives inside of my head. That's a message that I'll buy if you sold me that. So again, first thing is, like, you talk about this vulnerability, but also, let's look inward. Is there a copy? Is our result? Our result is higher ranking. Cool. But boost confidence might be really soft. Overcome pressure. To me, both of those are soft. Even higher ranking. You can move me up 10 rankings or whatever, something a little bit more, like anything a little bit more concrete. So for instance, if you play this game Rocket League on Xbox, so I'll use that. There's like different levels. They're it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, I think are the levels. So like if I promised I could get you into diamond, right? I could help you like go from bronze to diamond. I don't care where you are, I'll get you to diamond. So something like that's more tangible. It's like, that's the status that I want. Do you understand that? I want that diamond status. I want to be that guy who plays in those matches, right? Higher ranking, cool. But diamond ranking, better. See what I'm saying? Is there any way that you can cultivate that kind of messaging? So that might be something you can do. All right, let's see what we got going on. Comments. Mark Cora says, where are you getting those questions from? Replies from your email list. Yeah, so this is this is email list appreciation. Ask me anything, number one. So yeah, we sent out an email this morning, and then all these people just like we just basically said, hey, thanks for being on the email list. Ask me any question you want about life, and I'll answer it. So here we go. Like I was gonna wait till tomorrow or this week, but I was like, holy crap! If I don't get on this and start answering these now, it'll take me weeks. Free Top G. Super Cuber says this stream is fire, Kyle. Thank you. Leslie says that's funny. I work for John Benson. Good podcast. Oh, what up, Leslie? That's cool, man. Javier says you are so good, bro. Thanks, bro. OLL says, I will get going, and I agree. English isn't my strong side, as you can see. Maybe because our teacher is kind of ass. So I'm thinking about getting private teacher, learning from the web. Not sure yet. Practice. Just practice, buddy. Jay says, are you taking anyone as your disciples to learn, produce value, and earn money the way that you do? I'll answer this one really quick, then I got to get back to the email questions. So in short, this is kind of a yes and no question here. Actually, let me get rid of this question here. In short, there's a yes and a no to this. Am I taking anyone? The answer is anyone who puts forth the effort. So for instance, in Copy Squad Lite, we have this thing called the Daily Practice channel where you can read a piece of copy, write a piece of copy, come up with an idea a day. People who are posting in there are on my short list for folks to give opportunities to work with my agency to write copy with us. And I've already pulled one member from Copy Squad Lite and put him in an email role with a business owner that I know. And I've already pulled one member from Copy Squad Lite and let him write junior. I gave him a junior copywriting role on one of the projects we're doing right now. So the answer is sort of yeah. The people who I allow in are people that, like, this is another thing. People always talk about cold prospecting. Like, I got all these cold prospecting email questions that I'm going to go over. I'm going to talk about. I kind of been trying to save them till the end. But the way that you get a job with me, or the way that I put you into jobs, is you join this program, Copy Squad Lite, and I can see you do the work. Like, that's it. Like, you're demonstrating your value when you're inside the group, and I see you trying and practicing. That anyone who will practice and put in the reps, I can steadily shape into a successful copywriter. So that's who I'm rewarding. I'm not just grabbing someone because they took 2 seconds to leave no offense, I'm not talking about you specifically, but like they took 2 seconds to shoot off a random email to me or shoot off a random comment on a YouTube video. Like, I'm not taking you just because you took like 2 seconds to write a comment. The people that I'm working with are the people that I can see putting in the work, because copy is a grind, man. It's the same thing, like every day, just copy, reading copy, writing copy. It's just like it's just like never. It's just like the same thing every day. Leslie says, or he could not mention mindset at all for tennis. He could go more blind with the insert name method for winning more tennis games. That's true. Javier asked, do you require a degree when hiring coppers? I mentioned this a couple times. No. Like the dude I put on this project that we're working on, he's from overseas, and I don't know if he's gone to high. I don't even know what kind of schooling they have over there. Like, I don't know if he's got a degree. Mark Core says, are you 35? I'm 34, actually. Even more glad I could join Copy Squad Lite. Excellent. All right. jumping back into the emails. Let me see if I can pull out the email questions one more time. I got the wrong banner up. I'm looking for 4 triggers, right? And this is the email list appreciation. Ask me anything number 1. I'm at the, I don't know. I have to do 2 parts. If you want to get on and ask questions, you got to join the email list. This is for my email people. You want to join the email list, go to copysquad.net/4 triggers. I want to get my first client. Where to look for clients. Here's one. Okay, this is an actual copy question. Cool. These are my favorite kind of questions. I'm a copy chief. I'm going to have to start prospecting because I'm going to grow the agency. But my genius zone is in writing sales promotions. I've like never had to prospect. Everyone that I know from my job and when I was working at Agora. And so this goes back to what I was saying about like the Dan Bilzerian example earlier. Like it's about the setup, right? It's about putting yourself in the right position over exerting like bazillion man hours of just like nonstop grinding. The way I put myself in a position is I worked with the best and got mentorship from the best so that whenever I left, people go, oh my God, you worked for that guy? You work with who? You wrote what promotion? Oh yeah, please come work with us. You trained who? You had how many dollars in sales? Like, I don't have to sit here and be like, I will eventually. At some point, I want to scale my agency even larger than just the people I know inside financial publishing. But I keep getting that prospecting question. It's like, dude, I never sat and just grinded out cold emails. Like, why? I'd love to answer that question and give you the best advice I could. But it's like, I'm literally never done that. I'm just trying to be honest with you. Okay. Let's see. Boop. Here's a question. So I know I shouldn't write this in copy since it kills curiosity. And I also know that you should tease the mechanism to intrigue. So my question is, how can we intrigue and tease the mechanism the right way? Okay. So let's be clear about this thing. When it comes to writing this, you're going to appear a bit more scammy and you risk like just completely losing people. If you just say like, this is going to blow your mind. Like you say, hey, my name's Jason and I'm $1 million trader and this new, and I owe all my success to this. So that's poor man's intrigue. Like say, hey, I owe all my success to this. And then you make the word this like a hyperlink, like a clickable link. That's poor man's intrigue. I owe all my success to this. It will get clicks. But you can only do that so many times before someone's like, oh, this is just spam. Like that, it burns lists. In the short term, you can use that to get clicks. It doesn't really kill curiosity. So I just want to make clear that it's poor man's intrigue. It's if you get like 7 emails that are always like, oh, I owe all my success to this, or this is the secret to making money in the stock market. Like after like 4 of those, the reader's just going to stop reading your emails because they're going to get burned out and like, this isn't, it's no good. I also know that you should tease the mechanism to intrigue. You don't have to tease the that's the other. See, there's 2 assumptions here. Copy, like this kills curiosity. It doesn't. It's just not something that you want to use. Like people lean on it. It's why I call it poor man's intrigue. It just shows that you got no other tools. You've got no other arrows in your quiver than to just say, oh, look at this. So it's just like you're going to run. Like you can't do that forever. People catch on. And I also know that you should tease the mechanism to intrigue. See, you don't have to tease the mechanism at all. Yeah, you can say like, something crazy just went down. Let me just give you an example. Like you could use like a current event. Something crazy just happened. The CEO of AmericanZoos.com or something like that, was just replaced with AI. The impact is going to be felt across a bazillion different industries, but there are 3 companies that are looking to replace their CEOs with AI right now. Click here to find out what 3. Like where's the mechanism in that, right? Like there's no mechanism. Like that's just you don't have to tease the mechanism to intrigue. Now, what would have been stronger? Because I just made that email up in my head. So let's say there's a result in there. Okay, so I need to put a result in there that the reader would desire. So it would look something more like, "Oh my God, the CEO of the zoo just got replaced by the zoos have CEOs. The CEOs of Cork Boards, Cork Boards Incorporated, just got replaced with AI. As a result, their costs have dropped $2 million and their profits have exploded by 30%. Seeing this incredible example, 3 other companies are now eyeballing to see the exact same explosions in their stock prices. I predict that one of these 3 will raise as much as 100% if they implement this. But time is of the essence. They may do it as soon as this quarter. Click here now to find out which company." So you see there, like that's all intrigue, right? That's all intrigue. You don't. So I hope you said, how can we intrigue and tease a mechanism the right way? I mean, I think I gave you a couple examples there, but I think what's important here is the underlying assumption isn't necessarily like a rule the way it's written here in this questions. You know what I mean? I hope that's helpful. All right. Mark Orr says, "I think this stream is taking longer than you expected." Oh my God, we're at 2 hours. My lips are dry. Like earlier I was talking and my throat started hurting. That's never happened. Thoughts on boron letters? Read them. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it makes or breaks or changes like how you do anything. Who you got? Tank or Ryan Garcia? I don't know. I actually don't. CEO of Zoo, interesting, right? Let me see that. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, I've definitely got no idea. All right. So anyway, let's try to do a couple more email questions. Here we go. This did take longer than I thought. You're right. All right, I like this. Okay, I can answer this question. This one from Peter or Pete. He's asking about AI. All right, and this is something I think I know. I'm pretty sure me and John Benson talked about this on my podcast. So I have a podcast called The Kyle Milligan Show, and I made a separate YouTube channel just so that like people who don't want to just listen to me talk about nothing, if they only want to hear like my copy advice, I don't want to have to put them through it. But if you would just like to hear like me talk about other stuff, and I'm always bringing marketers on that so far. So it's always like people like John Benson who's making, new AI programs. If you're interested in that, you can go to Kyle Milligan Show on YouTube. Okay. So here's what Pete wrote. Kyle, my biggest question is, with all this AI stuff going on, especially John Benson stuff, it seems like learning copywriting may be a fruitless mission. I've been learning it over the past couple of years now, but it almost seems like most employers are getting rid of copywriters due to this. Was curious what your thoughts are. Obviously, this is all really new and it's impossible to tell the future. Thanks for any input, Pete. Okay, so Pete, the way that I look at this is I've got multiple facets that I want to look at this at or through. The first is the mindset of fruitlessness. if you think it's a fruitless mission, you're sort of missing the bigger picture. You're missing so much, like the role of copy within the marketing machine, like the fact that literally everything written is copy. So you're missing that. You're missing like the whole strategic element of understanding marketing, right? So then that's the first thing I want to say is like being intelligent on copy, its function, and how to make it work is such a ubiquitous skill set. If in the first hour of this, we're talking about dating and stuff. We talked a lot about emotions and relationships. It's not very far off from like understanding your reader and target market's emotions. You can. It's a very useful thing to know how to do, is to put yourself in the shoes of other people and be able to speak to their wants and desires. Second thing is this fruitless mission. Fruitless. I just don't like it. Like, trying to think. I had an example in the John Benson podcast that I use. Like, like one day this is going to happen. So why try it all? Like something like that. I'm trying to think of what my example was there. But like this is, that's what it was. It was about nihilism and like just, we're all eventually going to turn to dust. So why do we even get up in the morning? And that's what I feel like when people talk about AI. Like one day our days are going to end. So why do we even eat? Why do we even exercise or exchange, or extend our longevity? It's fruitless, right? We'll never get out of here. We're all going to turn to dust. That's what I feel like when people ask this question. One day something's going to happen, so I'm going to give up now. I don't like it. I don't like it. So that's the second way I want to look at this. Third thing I want to look at this. And I can do this because I'm as a financial copywriter like this, when I see a claim like this. So you got some hedging language, seems like. So that's your hedging language. Most employers getting rid of copywriters. Due to this, what is your source for this, brother? Seems like you're identifying that this is your feeling. You're identifying that this is like your perception. But then you say most employers, which is an empirical sort of claim. Like, I feel like this is a limiting belief, not a reality, but you're speaking as if it's happening. Most employers are getting rid of copywriters. I think, again, like what everyone's sort of saying is like people who are working with people who hardly wrote any, like, have you seen what ChatGPT puts out? Like, if you can't beat ChatGPT, you probably weren't the dollars they were paying you to begin with. So if you can't outperform ChatGPT, if you're that replaceable, you at this stage, So again, you're curious on what my thoughts were. That's kind of most of it. It's impossible to tell the future. Here's how I'm gonna look at it. If tomorrow, let's say I have a business, like this is the thing, man. Like I have a business. Let me give you the analogy, then this narrative. So the analogy is the drum machine can duplicate virtually any drum beat at any tempo, insert any fill at the drop of a dime or hat or whatever the most, some short unit of measure of time. A drum machine can emulate any drum beat, no matter how ridiculous it is. And yet, we still have drummers. So we have, in another arena, music, a machine that can be manipulated to produce insane quality of like musical talent and tempo on command. And yet we still have human drummers. Think of that. It's going to be the same thing. Here's the narrative I was going to give you. Let's say I have a business and I've got a WordPress website and I want to sell something. Let me go back. Let's just say I have a business, period. Let's say I got a business, I got a couple employees. That I think is say I got like more than three employees, small business, 3 employees. Do you think I'm going to go home? I'm going to like with all the things I got going with running my business, payroll, understanding my own market, like doing this, doing that. Do you think I'm going to go home, teach myself how to learn what prompts to use on ChatGPT, how to make sure that it puts out copy that's actually good? Do you think I'm going to go home and invest that time, or I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to hire a copywriter and they can use ChatGPT or whatever the hell they use to write copy? I don't give a shit. I just want a sales letter. I just want a sales page. I don't know how to use ChatGPT. I don't know how to craft a marketing argument or teach the machine to. I'm going to hire a copywriter. When Google came out and you could have any piece of information in the world at your fingertips, did all the offer owners and business owners in the world say, oh, well, I could just research all this on my own. I could just go on Google. I could just go on Reddit. I could just go do this. No, dude, they hired a copywriter who would use Google to go find all that information and put it all together and make sure it was up to snuff and make sure it was good. Lastly, I was doing a master class with Paul Macetta. Paul is Todd Brown's copywriter. He teaches Todd Brown's E5 method and copy. He was talking about one of his sales letters. He was doing a supplement for some sort of like health supplement, like gut health or something like that. No, it was like a tonic, like this like apple cider vinegar thingy or something like that. And he said, like, you know, in his sales letter, he goes, you won't have to like eat toast or drink water or do like anything to make sure your stomach doesn't hurt because this tonic is all natural or something like that. He knew about the eat toast or drink water or something like that because his sister or his wife or something, when they would have supplements, they'd always have to like eat a bunch of like carbs or something to make sure their stomach wouldn't hurt. ChatGPT would not know to relay that information to a reader. Does that experience of my sister and my wife either like have a sandwich or they have to like, you know, make sure that their stomach is full or empty or this or that. That's an experience that he knew is very specific, the toast thing, right? Like when I heard him say that, I was like, no AI would ever come up with that stuff. So I hope for all these reasons, you will dial back the nihilism of this fruitless mission messaging here and just learn the craft and be really good at it so that, you know, some basic English writing machine isn't capable of replacing you that easily. All right. Okay, I'm going to have to wrap. I actually thought I was going to get through all my emails. I don't think it's going to happen. What's up, Kyle Militigen? Oh, dope. Spawn avatar. That's cool, man. Thoughts on people claiming to make thousands of dollars from AI copywriting? All right, I laughed earlier because this dude said thoughts on the boron letters, and you say thoughts on. Thoughts is like my least favorite question. It makes me laugh because it's like my thoughts are I don't know, like what I feel like. What if I came on like, you know, you were hosting a podcast? Like, we'll take questions, and I said something like, "What's new?" What? What? That's a. I don't know, man. Shit. Did they make thousands? I don't know. All in. Copy Squad. Does that mean? What does that mean? Are you in? Did you join Copy Squad? Uncle Chat. GPT-4 coming this week to assist copywriters anymore. Yeah, it's just a tool. It's just a tool. How powerful do you think GIFs and emails? Will your reader get tired? Nah, dude. We use GIFs. Or we used to. I mean, I'm not sure if Tyler's still putting GIFs in there, but the GIFs are like memes. Like, do you ever get tired of seeing funny memes? No, man. It's fun. Barbara says, all in, Kyle, thanks. Just joined Copy Squad Lite. Plus all the add-ons. Whoa, what a G. I should do more of these. All I had to do all I had to do is just stand here and talk for 2 hours. I can make a sale. Well, thanks, Barbara. Cool to have you in there. Leslie says, if you don't know good copy, you won't know if what you're generating with AI is good or not. That's why you need to know copy. Yes, there you go. David says, waiting for another live email copy review where we could look over your shoulder. Super helpful. Oh, yeah, I did one not too long ago. I guess it has been a couple months, maybe a month or two, when I broke down some emails from Copy Squad Lite. Here it is. This is the Marcor says, am I saying it right, Marcor? The reason an employer hires a copywriter is to save time to focus on other parts of the business. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. So even if with AI, it's the copywriter who will give the prompt to generate copy, not the business owner. So no one's getting laid off. It's just hype made up. Javier says, very good perspective. Thanks, but he could also be talking about Mark. All right, so I didn't get through all the emails. I definitely didn't get to the prospecting questions. I kind of bucketed all those together. I sort of talked on the prospecting side a little bit. One thing I will say, in terms of the prospecting stuff, this is what I wanted to say is like, I've never sat down and just busted out a bajillion cold emails. No, that's not how I've ever gotten a copy client. So what I have done is I've actually brought on one of my buddies he is that guy. He does cold outreach for he works with big brands. He works with like celebrities and athletes to get them to appear at events and host charities and events and stuff like that. So he's reaching out to very hard to reach people and getting them to come in and do big events. So I asked him, I was like, well, if you can do that, then you could probably teach these copywriters how to get like some small businesses to respond to them. So inside of Copy Squad Lite, every month we do a live masterclass on some topic related to copy. I've never really felt like I should be the one to sit here and teach you how to prospect because, again, I have never sat down and drawn up my cold outreach plan and created a system or a process and then gotten a bunch of clients that way. But this guy, and whenever we have someone do it, I want someone who actually has done it before. But this guy is coming in to teach it. He's done it at the highest levels with giant NBA teams and NFL athletes and professional musicians, like household bands and artists. So I was like, okay, you can help my Copy Squad people learn how to prospect. So he's going to come in and do his masterclass on March 31st. If you join Copy Squad Lite, you get it. You get it as part of the membership. So all the masterclasses are just in this giant library that just keeps getting bigger every month, and you get access to the replays and all that stuff. So yeah, Copy Squad Lite is always getting more valuable every month. So if you want to join or anything like that, cool. That's where we're going to handle that prospecting question, because it's been very, very, very frequent question that I get all the time. And again, I don't want to sit here and say, this is what you do, because everything that I did, I built a network and then I just tap into that network. So I would be, sometimes I'll get comments or something like, what do you think about guys claiming this? What do you think about guys claiming that? I don't want to be that guy. Right? I don't want to be that guy claiming hey, I'll teach you how to get 1,000 clients a month. Until have personally gotten 1,000 clients with cold email or prospect. I haven't. So I'm going to just bring someone in who can and does. Let's see. Blood Pill Spawn. Great stream, bro. Just caught last 20 minutes. Going to replay. Catch you in Copy Squad Lite. I really want to join automatic copy. Could you talk about it, Kyle? Yes. So automatic copy is the research program. All of our products are at copysquad.net/products. I'm not sure. What's my automatic copy link? If anyone, I don't know. But yeah, so what that is my research process. I made that back when I was at Agora, when I was doing my sales letters for Agora. And I would like to, I can't tell, but I think I might like add modules to that. Having been an agency owner now and having to work on a lot of projects and learning like different ways to work with clients. But what I teach you in there is the three things that I focus on is like the market, the product, and the brand. So when you're doing research, you focus on like your target market, what their wants and needs are. But then you also have to sort of like deep dive into your product itself. And the last thing is because the way that we work in financial publishing with newsletters. So for instance, if you bought the Rich Dad, Poor Dad newsletter with Robert Kiyosaki as the guru, you would be subscribing to Robert. You would not be subscribing to Agora Financial. You probably wouldn't even know what Agora Financial was. You would just know Robert Kiyosaki and his letter. Okay? So what I focus on is the product, the market, and the brand. And when I mean the brand, the guru. We usually have a face, someone who we can put in front of a camera to build that relationship. And so the automatic copy teaches you like how to sort of like dive into those three things, because those are the three things that you need to mine for data or gold or whatever and present in your sales argument and your sales messaging. So automatic copy, the reason I call it automatic copy is because, and this, I say stuff like this, I say stuff like we don't make shit up. Okay, we do deep research. That product used to be called Deep Research, but it's not a sexy name. Automatic copy is such a sexier name. We do deep research. We plot that research on a page, and then that's data. That's just data. It's empirical evidence. It's just like raw facts. Then you tie all that data together using NSBE and the big four selling emotions, and you hype it up, make it exciting, right? And then you reframe and you format it as objection, claim, proof, benefit format, all that raw data that you got from the research. That's how you show up to a sales letter and have confidence about what it is that you're doing. So you don't feel like you're just running into a blank page, not having a clue every single time. Okay. Marcor says, that's pure value for members of Copy Squad Lite. Only subject matter experts are teaching you what you're learning there. I think that's really important. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate that. Okay. Real quick. My client wants me to set up Facebook ads, Google Tag Manager, Google Analytics for her. It's much more technical, but maybe very valuable to add to my skills. What's your opinion on additional skills outside of copywriting? Worth learning or focus only on copywriting? Oh, man. No, I like that kind of stuff. The technical stuff makes me want to flip a table over. Cannot do it. Anything like where it's like tedious, where it's like spreadsheets, like analytics, tag manager. I understand it conceptually, and I'll tell Alexander Tyler to do it. But if I have to go into the system myself, I will have like an absolute rage fit. My temperament cannot handle that sort of level of tedium. So if I was going to answer my personal experience, I can't do it. If you like it, sure, it would be a valuable thing to add. But I don't have the capacity or temperament or ability to handle that level of stuff. Javier asks, should I join CS Lite or that one? I can tell you that like in terms of like just pure value, it depends. Like if you're looking for like hardcore research, like just research, I mean, obviously automatic copy is the way to go. But in terms of just like, if you just want like overall, in terms of bang for your buck, Copy Squad Lite is the most ridiculous offer proposition. Like it's stupid. I did like a video recently. Oh yeah, I streamed me recording the onboarding video for Copy Squad Lite. I streamed it. I was like, we're going to turn this into an onboarding video, but I'm going to stream it anyway. And when I was going through it and I was streaming that video, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe how much shit is inside of Copy Squad Lite. Like I'm kind of like shocked. It is redonkulous. Marcor says, I can help with those tasks if you want to get in touch. He might be talking to you, buddy. He might be talking to you about those other types of things. I'm not sure. Well, look, guys, we're at 2 hours, 20 minutes. My brain is starting to shut off on me. This was my email list appreciation. Ask me anything number 1. Definitely went longer than I thought it was going to go, and I didn't even get through all my emails. If you want to have a chance to have your question answered in future email list appreciation, ask me anythings, go to copysquad.net/4triggers. You're there. You can sign up to the email list, and you'll get a free PDF called 4 Triggers. It'll teach you the big 4 selling emotions. All right. Thanks so much. I really appreciate here you go. Leslie just posted. I think Leslie just joined Copy Squad Lite recently. Over 108 videos in Copy Squad Lite. Thank you, Marcor. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, everybody who came. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys soon. Until next time, peace out, Copy Squad.